Hello, I'm Bobby, and today we're going to take one of these 6-foot cedar fence pickets and turn it into a birdhouse like this. These are all the tools that we're going to use today. You really don't even need the clamp or the impact driver, but I'm going to use one because I have it. Our first step here, we're going to cut out the bottom. We're going to use the dog ears you see, and that's going to help with ventilation. Our first measurement is going to be 4 1/8 inches. Now I'm going to set up the miter saw for the first cut. Remember, don't have it plugged in when you're adjusting the blade. What we're going to do is we're going to cut to the right side of this line. This piece here is the waste piece. This is the work piece. You want to cut over here because if you cut on this side and you mess up, you can't add any wood later. So there is our line. Drop the blade down. You can see it's touching just barely to the right. And you don't want to try to hit right on the line because the saw kerf is going to throw off your measurements. And you'll see I'm using my clamp here. This is to protect the wood from clamping down too hard and leaving a mark. The reason I'm doing that is because I don't have 6 foot worth of support with my wings here, so it helps to hold it down so the saw doesn't bind or anything. All right, I think we're ready to cut. The next step is going to be to cut the front. It's going to be 10 inches tall, and we're going to use a 20-degree bevel. Now, if you don't have a miter saw, I'm going to show you a trick on how to get the angle in just a little bit. I have the bevel set. Now, you will want to do a dry run without the blade on to make sure you're not going to hit your fence and you can get through the cut. The measurement for the top is 9 inches. I flip the board over and I'm going to start with the higher end from the bevel. The saw is back to 90 degrees and we're ready to make the cut. For the sides, the back here is 11 3/4 inches. The front is 9 3/4 inches. That's where our 20 degrees comes in. There's a couple of different ways to do this. You just measure this side, measure this side, draw a line across. Measure this side, draw a line across, and connect them. Or you can just put a mark and set your saw. Okay, I went ahead and drew our lines out, but to show you how to do on the speed square, you put your pivot point even with that mark, and you move it that way until 20 is even with the edge of the board. Well, we're not going to see that 20-degree cut because the footage didn't come out like I wanted it to, and I don't want to cut another board. But now I'm going to show you the easiest measurement in the whole project. You take the side we just cut, line it up, make sure you're flush over there, just make your mark. The last piece we have is the back. There's 27 inches of board left, and you can use all of it if you want to, but I'm going to cut mine down to 17 inches. Our next step is going to be to cut the hole in the front. And I've found the center of my board. I've measured 2 inches down. We're going to cut 1.5 inch hole. I'm going to use this bit here. You can also use one of the spade bits, but I just haven't had a lot of luck with that, and if you have a Forstner bit, that will also work. I'm going to drill part of the way down, then I'll flip the board over and finish. That's going to help with tear out. There's our hole. It's a little rough on the inside there and around this edge, so I'm going to do some sanding just to smooth it up. Next, I'm going to take the bottom. I'm just going to drill a few more holes in it that will, again, help with ventilation and drainage. All of our pieces are cut, and now we can start assembly. For the first step in assembly, I've taken my right angle clamp here and clamped the front and the right side flush on the bottom. I've got 1 1/4 inch exterior screws I'm going to hold it together with, and I'm going to use a countersink bit. I'm going to drive with my driver because I have one. It's not necessary. You can use a screwdriver, you can put a bit in your drill and drive. However, whatever you've got is what you can use. Well, I went to do the next step in assembly and realized, oops, I made a mistake. I attached this side on the wrong spot. Rather than here, it should be over here. This is a pretty easy fix. Yeah, there's going to be some extra holes in here, but some of them will help for ventilation and the birds aren't going to care. Mistakes happen. All right, one more time with the boards in the right place. Again, I got a number 8 countersink bit for my drill. If you're going to use nails to put it together, you don't need the countersink, but you still want to drill pilot holes to keep the wood from splitting on you. I'm going to drill the hole and then go ahead right ahead and screw it in so nothing gets out of line. Much better. Now we're ready to attach the back. This side here is the side that's already attached. And I'll just put this other side on. It's not attached yet. I'll show you why later. Just to support and have everything spaced out, I'm just going to put a few holes in the back. As far as your overlaps here and in the back, I just sort of eyeballed it. It doesn't. You can measure out and center it if you want to. It doesn't really matter. These flaps are really just so you have something to drill into a tree or a fence post, however you're going to hang it up. Remember, don't do anything with this side yet. We've got to leave it where it can move so you can clean the birdhouse out. Now for the bottom, I'm just going to put a screw on front, side, and back. Now is also a good time to check, make sure none of your screws or nails are poking out where they might hurt a bird or something on the inside. We're looking pretty good. It's going to hinge open so you can open and close it. We're going to just have a screw on either side. Take your square, make a mark here and here because you want them on the same level to keep it from binding. Now I'm going to transfer my mark here so I can see. And again over here. And just put your screws. That's good. Last step is going to be the top. I'm going to look at it one more time just to make sure there's no screws sticking out. Find your beveled end, attach it, meet it up with the back. Then remember, we got the side over here is the one that opens and closes, so we're just going to drill here and here, maybe one more here to keep the lid on. Here we have the finished birdhouse. You'll notice the gaps here. That is on purpose to help with airflow. I didn't glue anything. You can glue all but your cleaning door if you would like to. I just don't do it because these are designed to be taken back apart and sold as a kit for somebody to put them together. You can, like I said, you can use nails instead of screws, really whatever you want to do. Hope you had fun. Thank you.